Welcome to this week's edition of Africa 360. I'm your guest anchor, Lindy Mtongana.
No visa required or visa on arrival. That's what everyone wants to hear when they decide to travel to another country, whether as a tourist, student or business person. Visa restrictions are exactly what they imply: missed economic opportunities.
Regional integration is not just about trade in goods and services. That is too narrow. And that's only about 15% in terms of activity. It's much broader. It's about movement of people and talent, opening up of borders. It's about investing in infrastructure to facilitate that movement. It's about one-stop border posts.
A new infographic designed by Rosie Spinks for Good magazine ranks countries according to the power of their passports. That's the number of places their passports can enter, either without a visa or with a visa on arrival. Seychelles takes the first place. Its citizens have the most freedom and can freely visit 126 other countries around the world. Mauritius, South Africa and Botswana are second, third and fourth respectively. South Africa is an interesting case. Even though its citizens can travel freely across its borders to 94 countries, it has recently introduced strict new visa laws, causing panic among immigrants, especially the 3 million Zimbabweans living in the country. Rwanda is an example of the benefits of no visa restrictions. Even though the country is 13th from the bottom of the list, with its citizens only being able to visit 43 countries freely, it's opened its borders to visitors. Since this move, tourism from African countries has increased by 24%. Trade with neighboring countries increased by 50%, and trade with the DRC rose by 73%. Last on the list is Eritrea. Its citizens can only visit 36 countries freely. That makes it difficult for the 4,000 Eritreans wanting to flee the country every month. But how do you get politicians to be open to ease visa restrictions?
I think it's about making the argument for the benefits, economic benefits of regional integration in the first place, making leaders understand that regional integration extends the national agenda in the first place.
Countries have to ask themselves the one important question: how powerful is our passport? Shanae Hale, Johannesburg.
When it comes to borders, Africa is the grand design of Western states as they scrambled for parts of Africa. Centuries later, those very same structures determine the flow of goods, services and people. The simple question of who's allowed in and who is not. Well, one man challenged the very notion of Africa's borders. In 2004, Miyere Miyandazi embarked on a life-changing journey. He walked from Kenya's Masai territory all the way to Cape Town in South Africa to raise awareness about the unlawful appropriation of Masai land by the Kenyan government. Armed with nothing but a traditional warrior spear, a symbol of his tribe, he walked through 9 African countries without a passport. The journey took some unexpected turns along the way, at one point landing him in prison. But in essence, Miyere's tale is one of humanity, the notion that Africans are deeply connected in spite of how our borders suggest otherwise. Join us on the journey of Miyere Miyandazi. Miyere, thank you so much for coming to speak to us in our studios here today. You've traveled an incredible journey through 9 different countries, thousands of kilometers with no money at all and no passport. It seems almost impossible. Many people wouldn't believe that was possible to do. But tell us, when it comes to the borders, was it easy to cross these borders or did you have to be quite strategic?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lindy, also for having me here anyway. Yeah, borders is another story anyway. And there's so many other ways that you can cross these borders, but then it's also, do I notice them? Do I recognize that they exist? That is one of the most, I think, the best strategy is, do I really even identify them? Yeah.
And in sort of working with that strategy, even if you don't necessarily acknowledge or want to acknowledge their existence or operate within that framework, certainly there are other people. I mean, borders are there, as far as they're concerned, to keep certain people in and to keep certain people out. How did you experience that on your journey?
Yeah. You know, generally, these are many borders, but then the physical ones that we're talking about now, it's mixed. Others, the immigration people would be scared. Others would be, you know, militant. But then, all in all, the intention remained clean and clear, and I got my way. I got my way, yeah.
Now, at your experience at these borders, looking at how they operate, looking at what's happening in these spaces, do you find that borders help or hinder Africa's development?
It does. It does hinder. I don't know which country would say that they've really progressed because they have boundaries. I really don't see one, you know. And, you know, if you look at the root of it, you really find that it's rooted in division, you know. And if we're talking about progress, that is, you know, defined in a way that it unifies the people, that everyone is moving together, I really don't think that they can facilitate that, or they can even lead us to that point. They haven't up to now. But then the amount of corruption, Lindy, that you see there, that I've witnessed there, you know, and you just really know that, no, these are not really things that are working. And they can't work, because we cannot move forward in a separated way. No, 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 no.
Tell us a little bit more about the impact you think that borders have had on African people.
Yeah. It's only here that in, was it in 2001, where there was xenophobia. And this was good here because it was pronounced, you know. But then in other countries also, it is there. But then also waking up to the fact that really this is true. It is really happening here. That a Swana from here and a Motswana again from Botswana, or you know, they would, or even Zimbabwe would not recognize each other. Just they need a booklet. So you can see it's divided already, you know. And where do we go to when we are divided? How can we achieve even our goal of being a unified people? So in Africa, really, it's been really tough, because I need a visa while coming to South Africa. I do need a visa. You know, the other day, you remember Kenya and South Africa, they were having all that. And you're wondering, really, of who's benefiting from this? Because the real people on the ground, they don't really even care. They don't even benefit from that. I've been supported by so many people as I work who don't even think of that paper. They don't even ask of it. They don't even, it's irrelevant to them. Them, what is important is this is another human being.
Stay with us as traveller Miyere Miyandazi reflects on the physical and emotional peril he faced on the road. Miyere Miyandazi's journey to Cape Town started in August 2003 and ended just 6 months later in Cape Town. In 2007, he began the return leg of his journey, stopping along the way, often for months at a time in various countries. He was also abducted under mysterious circumstances, and while seeking help at a police station, he was arrested, spending nearly 2 months in a Zambian prison. He eventually arrived home in 2012. Let's listen as Miyandazi looks back on a journey that not only challenged him physically, but emotionally. I mean, you did walk with no money at all, and obviously no plans to sleep in a certain place. So how did you make your way? Tell us about some of the, those moments where you experienced the kindness of absolute strangers, the sense of humanity that is shared amongst all.
No, it's this continent is beautiful. People are beautiful, you know. I think these are the people. This is, I don't know how I can put it, but then the experience of people you really realize that, yeah, there is hope. I don't know what word, I don't know if word can ever describe this, the experience that I've had with people, because other places where you never expected to get support from anyone, you find it. And you find it in corners where you don't expect completely, through people that, you never even thought you'd ever talk to, You imagine in prison, and prisoners who have nothing, or they're criminals one way, but then waking up to the fact that these are just human beings also, children on the streets, and everyone is scared of me, but then these are kids who are going to give me the place to sleep for the night. Again, that part of them, in places where I myself thought, no, I'm going to sleep outside. Then someone comes along. I say, you want a place to sleep? Find me in front. Are you still walking? Yes. Okay. Park there. I'll come and get you. I'll meet you there. Just people just getting that part of them that is you. I believe sometimes I look at them and think, when I generalize, I believe that it's dead. Seeing what is happening in the world, I don't believe that there are people who can be good. No. But then from that walk, I really knew that no, so many of people are good.
Was there ever a time that you were scared for your life, that you thought you might not make it?
Yeah, many. Even now, sometimes I still get that, I'm scared. But then also, very much in the city. One amazing thing is in the city, it's scary in the city. Everyone is kind of busy and chasing and have this fear implanted in them. Today, coming here, looking at the posts, the news that is on the post, it's all about death, killing. You're wondering, is this all that is surrounding us? You don't get to hear there's another child who's been born that has this that is unique. No. It's just something that makes you be scared. You surround yourself completely with that fear. But then generally out here, there are very many good people. And in other places, for sure, I felt like, will I make it here? Can I make it? In Tanzania, for instance. And even just living in Kenya itself was scary. Is there anyone who knows I'm living, part of the authorities here, who know that I'm living and I'm living for this mission? And do they realize that it has a potential to really bring in other views from the world over? So there was fear already there, But then in Tanzania, in Zambia, all these places, fear never ceases to just let me go completely. It still keeps on coming and coming and coming. But then what gives hope so much and strengthens me is the fact that I don't know what the next minute holds for me, and the next minute might be again another lesson that these exist even today. There are people who have this kind of heart in this world today, even in the city here.
Now you took off on your journey, what was it, 2004, am I right?
Yes, in 2003, 2004.
And the main purpose was to get from Kenya to Cape Town to spread the message about the land that was being taken from the Masai people.
Yes.
We'll get to, in just a moment, to what happened when you arrived in Cape Town. But I know you talk about these times when there was perhaps fear, times when you were not sure what the next day would bring. But I do understand that at some points in the journey, you made friends along the way that walked with you and helped carry the story with you.
Yeah. Many. But also, I have this understanding now of the journey that a train, for instance, I use that very much. That a train sets off with a mission. It gets to Langa, then maybe from there it turns again. So people board it, but then they are light when they reach their destinations. It's the same thing that has been with this journey. I've found so many people along the way who boarded it. Some, I cannot really judge why, I cannot say much why, but then for their own interests, And they are light, they arrive. But then the journey was really to get to Cape Town initially. But then on the way, along the way, I also found that no, this is not just a journey that is physical, and to talk and to, you know, to complain and to, you know, ask for a revolution in terms of resistance. No, but then it was also a journey that I was fighting in myself. Yes. Yes, there's so many people that I've met along the way. I've made a lot of friends. I think I've also made a lot of enemies, but then I am not really sure because this has been, again, to do with the borders. Yes, because there's a place I'm not supposed to go past. Yes. But then also, again, interestingly, is the people who were supposed to man those boundaries also could bend the law, could bend it, because they would understand this is just a person walking. So I think if we to break down these walls, walking would be a good thing, would really bring us together.
Miyere Miyandazi's journey began as a protest to bring awareness to the disenfranchisement of the Masai people. Well, after the break, we ask him, was it worth it? Stay tuned. The Masai people of East Africa live primarily in southern Kenya along the Great Rift Valley. However, most of what used to be Masai land has been taken over for government projects, private farms, ranches, and private hunting concessions. Over the past 2 decades, thousands of Masai have been evicted. In some cases, their villages burnt to the ground. Miyere's mission was to bring this story to the world's attention. He reflects now on the success of his mission. You arrived in Cape Town to bring attention to the issues facing the Masai in Kenya. From that perspective, was the physical journey a success?
Yeah, it was a success. It was a success. I arrived in Cape Town. Yeah, I did what I'd set to do, met a lot of people, got a lot of other interested bodies from all over. Yeah, it was successful. The results are what now I'm still waiting to see if really it worked. But then, to me, setting off, walking, and getting down there physically, yeah, that was done in the way that I'd planned. And I think to get a mission accomplished in that way, I think is because it is pure. The intentions are clear, that the Almighty, or whatever it is, has blessed it and made sure know that, no, you will get there. You will do what you plan to do in that way. So I think it was successful in that way.
We are almost out of time, so just one very quick question. The stories that you've collected along the way, you've put together in a book, which you're hoping to get published fairly soon. And I'm sure along the way people learned a lot from you. From the book, people will continue to learn from your experience. But is there any particular person or particular experience that you felt you learned the most from?
Yeah, no, these are many. These are many, Lindy. Yes, again, with the book, the divorce, I should just encourage you to get a copy when it's out, because there's so much in there, and there's still so much coming out of there. Because imagine, this is a journey that it is a step by step, just counting all the steps that you have been on, the kilometers, not looking at the but every step being different from the previous step, So there are many things that have made me really awake to my responsibility on this earth and my journey itself. A case would be in Tanzania, and even in Zambia itself, where the police, the warder tells me very well that he knows that I'll be out of jail, and he knows very well that I will also participate in improving the welfare of other prisoners in there. But then this is a main person in this prison who, and his words, for sure, I felt this is a human being, really. This is a man who's supposed to be looking after, jailbirds is used to these people. You see how punishment is meted again towards those people in jail, and you think, is this a human being there who's administering this thing here? But then when he told me this, I thought, okay, you're looking at me as a bad man. But then, no, I'm not really. You know those people who you were within there, and also in that jail themselves knowing that it's them, they play this game, it's something that they're used to. That really touched me also. But then a lot of experiences on the way, really, Lindy.
Just very quickly, perhaps, because now I'm very curious about how you landed up in jail in Zambia. If you could share some of that story.
Yeah. In Zambia, quickly, you said you don't have much time. Just abducted in Tanzania, found myself in Zambia after a long, torturous journey again with myself and the situation that even led to even me getting back to Zambia. Not knowing I was in Zambia, getting myself to the police and to the immigration, voluntarily, because I want to know what is really happening. And, being given 24 hours in that to leave the country, eventually handing myself over to the police, and they get me in, and my journey to the prison starts again, to jail and prison. Yes. So that is how I got myself in that prison.
And yet it's not something you look upon as a regret, it was just part of the experience.
It was quite an interesting experience, because then you see what the borders have done, Because inside there, for sure, the people there were not looking at me and that is why, in fact, they were looking at me as, no, this person has not done any crime. There were other people there also from Tanzania. This is a town very much near Tanzania. So there were other people also from Tanzania who had committed other crimes, and they were inside, but they're not as illegal immigrants, of which I was. Later, some Somalis came from, and they came and joined me also there. But then my case was very different, because I was walking. These are people who are transiting, who are looking for better economic, growth and prosperity in other places, on their ways exactly to South Africa at that time. And the experience in that jail was one of a mixed, emotion in me, seeing how people were treated, where they were sleeping. Just how it worked, that the captains were, I was also put in amongst them, how much space we had. And you go to the toilets, you cannot even, you have to jump, people, and they're sleeping virtually by the toilet. And this is a prison where it's buckets. So you can see the last people who are put here, and also the people who are put to sleep there are people not from the country Zambia, but then from the neighboring countries. Now they're the ones who should be, sleeping on, and they're the ones who are suffering most there. But then you can see how this replicates itself in the whole entire system of governance. And you can see where, the majority. It was, for me, this is how it is. This is how really life is in this system. And I'm wondering, why do we even have these prisons? Why do we have these boundaries? Does it do us any good? Because again, in Zambia, one of the experiences that that really woke me up to the whole entire system was the fact that a prisoner who's been condemned in there can still have a deal with a prison warder and have a gun and go operate at night and come back, and they share, and this is open. This is something that you just see that, and imagine that your person who even was a witness in that case, and this guy really got found guilty, and is okay, and he now comes back to you, but then no one will believe that it is him. So you will start pointing fingers to other people again. So the system gets moving. So it has been a very interesting journey, Lindy.
Although the walk itself has ended, the journey and the pursuit of justice for the Masai continues. Miyandazi has just completed a book recounting his experiences. For more information, visit www.masaiwarrior.com. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. But it isn't the end of Miyere Miyandazi's journey. Well, tell us what you thought about today's show via Facebook, or tweet us at Africa360_ENCA, or send us an email at africa360@enca.com. You can find out more about today's show and watch previous episodes on www.enca.com/Africa360. So until next time, take care.